line. Stay on the line. Let me get you to Tinley Park. Don't hang up.
Don't you can do it. Shut up, dude. I'm leaving it.
Go, go, go!
Welcome to the USF CMMA Spotlight interview. I'm Rodolfo Flores, and I'm here with our Spotlight guest, Mr. Charlie Minn, the director of Who Killed These Women. So, Mr. Minn, why don't you tell us a little about yourself and some of the work that you've done?
I used to be a producer for America's Most Wanted, so true crime is my background. And I've made 45 documentaries. 35 of them are true crime documentaries. The others are sports related because I'm a huge sports fan, especially hockey. So sold films to Lionsgate, Investigation Discovery. I'm a workaholic. I don't sleep much. I'm home doing a lot of research, traveling. And I do 3 documentaries a year, so that's 1 every 4 months. So the only way you can pull that off is if you're literally overlapping, like working on 2 at the same time, sometimes 3. So this is my first real film in Chicago. Mm-hmm. And just 48 hours away as we sit here from the release of the documentary. So I don't know, Chicago could be my new home since my mom passed away, so it's hard for me to go back to New York.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for those of the people who are watching who may not know about the Lane Bryant shooting, do you want to give a little background about it?
Yeah, in 2008, a killer, a coward, walked into a Lane Bryant, a criminal, and executed 5 women. Shot a 6th woman, but she miraculously survived. She said that she shifted her head at the last second and played dead, and the bullet grazed her neck. So he walks in, there's 2 customers, 2 employees already at the Lane Bryant. The store had just opened. He forces all 4 women to the back room at gunpoint, ties them up with duct tape, and then he hears 2 more people come in, does the same thing to them, so now we have 6 people in the back. And the whole thing took 40 minutes, which is very odd because usually a criminal wants to get in and out. I mean, this killer is just begging to get caught. Walks in with no mask, spends 40 minutes there. God only knows what he was doing during that duration. And incredibly, he hasn't been caught. He just vanished. Doesn't make sense. He did take a little bit of money, but why would you rob a Lane Bryant on a Saturday morning when there's not much cash in there? I can see a bank, but not a Lane Bryant. So the whole thing doesn't make sense. And there's been so many questions swirling around this thing. Was it an inside job? Was somebody targeted? This is the most confusing mass shooting I've ever researched.
I like the adjective coward. I think that's a great way to describe the criminal. So what made you interested in the Lane Bryant shooting, and why did you want to make a true crime documentary about it?
Easy answer, it's unsolved. I mean, when have you ever heard of an unsolved mass shooting before? I blame Tinley Park PD big time for the lack of results. The 55,000 residents in Tinley Park are just way too quiet. They got to be more outspoken about this. I mean, 5 women were executed and there's no justice. And it's just too quiet. It's gotten boring. Tinley Park PD, they're very aloof with the media, at least with me. And I heard they're like that with a lot of people. So their lack of transparency, lack of communication is pathetic. What has worked in 18 years? We don't even have a suspect. All we have is a sketch. There's a $100,000 reward out there. That hasn't helped. So social media will help solve this. I don't think Tinley Park PD will solve it. The message has to get out there far and wide. I mean, why should it take a New Yorker to come into Chicago to make noise? I'm surprised I got to this before any other Chicagoan, actually. Someone should have gotten to this well before me, but so be it. It is what it is. I'm here now. I want to thank all the Chicago media for helping to raise awareness. We've sold about 500 tickets, which is good for an independent documentary. When I'm competing with movies like Scream and studio films, I'm not a studio film director. I'm an independent documentarian who makes films from the heart. So anytime you're competing with the big boys and you sell 500 tickets before the movie even comes out, you gladly take it.
So why did you decide to make this 18 years after the shooting?
Well, in 2008, I wasn't a filmmaker yet, so I wanted to make the film 8 years ago, and Tinley Park PD said, we don't want to participate. And then I got so busy with other projects, but it was always swirling in my head somewhere. It was always in the back of my mind. I couldn't get rid of it. So finally, about a year ago, maybe less, I decided to look into it again. Once again, the same answer, we're not going to participate. And I said, screw it, I'm just going to go ahead and do it, because I had some family members on board. And to get right to the point, I was able to get a lot of interviews through reading the comments online when they were talking about a documentary was being made, my documentary. So we got the first 4 paramedics on the scene that day because of social media posts. Incredible how the world has changed now.
Yeah.
Everything is social media, TikTok and AI, everything. And then we were able to get some of the former Lane Bryant employees, one of them who knew the survivor, who, like I said, miraculously survived. That's if you believe that whole story, that she shifted her head at the last second and played dead. I mean, some people think she was in on this.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that she is, but I'm just telling you the possibilities and what I'm hearing. So we were able to get a couple of law enforcement, former law enforcement officials. I had to get some law enforcement presence because Tinley Park PD wouldn't talk. So, and as I mentioned, the family members. So I think the film still does an excellent job despite the absence of Tinley Park PD.
So is there anything that you found out while researching and filming this film that surprised you about the case? Maybe that you didn't know before or didn't expect?
There was a criminal that was arrested in a motel near the incident. Happened on February the 3rd, the day after. And I want to be clear here, I'm not saying that this lady was targeted, but her name is Esther Reed. If people want to look her up, she was wanted by the police for identity corruption. And she was arrested in Tinley Park, really close to the scene, the day after. And some people theorize that she was the target, and that's why it took 40 minutes, and that the hitman was waiting for her. I've heard everything under the sun, where this was a hitman that was hired to get rid of the manager of the store, and then another hitman killed the hitman so that he would never talk about it. You know, when you get into this dangerous type of rhetoric, you really have to be careful what you put out there, because, you know, in the film I wanted to put a lot of sketches in there, but I don't have proof that that's the person. So I really had to be careful what I put out there so no one gets hurt that wasn't involved with this.
So what do you hope the public's reaction will be to the film you made?
It's an interesting question. I mean, every time I make a film, you as an independent documentarian, you sort of hold on for dear life. I mean, I've heard everything under the sun about my past 45 films. This will be interesting. I don't know what people will think about it. It's graphic, it's emotional, it's poignant, it's compelling. The interviews are the crux of any documentary. So when you interview people like the way you're interviewing me, you really got to ask smart questions, not the same old, same old. As a journalist, you want to be different and stand out a little bit. So I'm looking forward to the reaction, but like any other film I made, I'm confident.
So finally, the last question. Do you think with all the research you did this is going to push someone like Tinley Park PD, as you've mentioned before, to reopen this case or look more into it to finally get a conclusion to
Well,
it?
first of all, they've never closed the case.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not going to say that because then that's basically giving up on it. I mean, they made a statement on the anniversary last week saying, we're still looking at it, we're exhausting all the leads. And I went on WGN and I said, I don't even know what that comment means. What are they supposed to say? We're not looking at it anymore? I don't even know what that comment means. You're supposed, that's your job. I don't know what Tinley Park PD will think about the movie. I'm sure they're going to go out and see it, and I'm sure they're going to report back. But, you know, my concern is not them anymore because I don't deal with them and they don't deal with me. My concern is the general public who hopefully will start making all these comments on TikTok and whatever, and it's going to reach the right person who's going to say, all right, finally, this is getting too much. I need to say something. You don't have to give your name. You can call yourself Peter Pan, give the information, collect the $100,000, and get the heck out of the way. That's why it's silly this hasn't been solved, because unless the killer didn't tell a soul, which I doubt, I guess it's possible, somebody knows something.
So where can people go see this film?
All the information is on the film's website, thetinley5.com, and that's the number 5. All the theater information is on there along with the trailer and a lot of news reports.
Be sure to go see the film Who Killed These Women around the Chicagoland area this week and next week. Have a great day, everybody.